All right, y'all, this is Mr. Cowan coming at you. This is a just in case I'm not feeling well on Monday and unable to be there. If I am not there, I do apologize. I'll be back as soon as I can. If you would be so kind to point your teammates to the agenda and say, hey, listen, the homework's on there, yes, but also the video is there. So go ahead and point them to the words that says watch today's video here. And of course, that would be in Canvas. You guys know if you're watching this video. All right, first things first, you perhaps already got to the bell work. If not, you are welcome at this time to check your answers. Press pause if you're not there. And if you are there, go ahead and check your answers right now. Don't worry about the mental math, just check your answers. Of course, I make mistakes, but I did not try to make any mistakes today. All right, hit pause, come on back when you're ready. Now, folks, we do have a math review quiz tomorrow. That would be Tuesday, August 24th. Be ready for it. You've been practicing for 2 weeks, so if you've really fixed your brain, it should be quite a positive grade, positive experience. Might skip Rocket Math for today. Onward to Khan Academy. You should already be done with 33%, 5%, and 3%. I will get those grades fixed up as soon as I possibly can, maybe even on Monday or Tuesday. But meanwhile, the next grade, what is due on Friday, August 27th, you should be, I think we might have changed that to 60%. Forgive me, I can't remember. But you really should be 2/3 of the way done through early math, 10% of the way done through arithmetic, 6% through pre-algebra. Pause right now, fill out your sheet, and come on back when you are ready. All right, so I'm just being clear what your grade comes from. Some of you will get an easy 10 out of 10, 100% on your first grade, and you'll do the same thing for this coming week. Some of you, dare I say, are already finished with it. All right, we're going to get through today's topic. Today's topic is adding and subtracting positive and negative, boom, fractions and mixed numbers. Now, we've already done positive and negative integers. We've already done positive fractions and mixed numbers, so it's time for us to relearn that 7th grade standard. And sooner or later, we're going to get into decimals, and then, of course, we'll get into multi-step equations with positive and negative rational numbers. So it's important that we get this skill for today. Go ahead if you've not already done so. I hope that our guest teacher has passed out the papers. On your title, page 1, go ahead and add in the next title. This is page 4, add and subtract mixed numbers. Press pause and come on back when you are ready to move on. So if you have not done so already, I think there's kind of a part on the back that says glue here. And it does fold right about right here so you can see the front and the back. Maybe I should have made that look like the glue line on the back, and this is the fold line so that you can see examples on the front and the back. Pause if you need time to glue, and come on back when you're ready to take notes. All right, so we were going to do this, I do, and then we do as a class, and then you do with your partner. I don't know what we'll be able to do without me here. I apologize for that, but we're going to do the best we can. And so here we go. Notice here we're going to add or subtract, and then, of course, we want to write our answer in simplest form. So look for those action words and directions. Now, the first problem says -4 7/8 plus -4 3/8. A lot of you like to draw. I'm going to go ahead and use my function here. A lot of you like to draw the pluses and minuses, but -4 7/8 is a negative. -4 and 3/8 is a negative. So notice, everything's negative, even the little bitty parts, which I put right here. I just make them a little smaller, okay? Or some of you do better with number lines. -4 and 7/8 goes down. -4 and 3/8 goes deeper down. Therefore, our answer, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and write negative because, and here's where you get to write your own spot. Some of you are going to write everything is negative. Others of you are going to write, it goes deeper underwater, it goes deeper down, it decreases further. You write what you need, but just realize that we are deeper underwater, we are deeper in debt. Now in this case, there are no zero pairs, so that's why we're going to add. So let's go ahead and circle add because there are none. And our common denominator, well, wait a second, if we take a look at this, both of these already have a common denominator of 8. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to rewrite this as 4 7/8. I like to write addition of fractions and mixed numbers vertically. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I'm also going to take note immediately that we already said our answer was going to be negative. All right, so because these already have common denominators, 7/8 and 3/8 added together makes 10/8. 4 holes and 4 holes is 8 holes, and we already said the answer is negative, but wait a second. Notice here that this answer is more than a hole. In fact, we could write that as 1 hole and 2/8, but don't forget the 8 holes. So let's go ahead now and regroup. 9 holes, 2/8 does in fact reduce to simplest form. Oh, and don't forget, Mr. Callan, we already said our answer is deeper underwater, so that most definitely should be a negative. Now, if you wrote -9 and 2/8, that's not wrong. It's just not the best way to write it. So basically, if you wrote that, it's not wrong, but you should write your answer in simplest form as we state. All right, pause if you need to write down some more. Otherwise, we'll go on to example 2. For example 2, we have -5/6 minus a -3 1/8. In this case, if you draw the pluses and minuses, you will notice ever so small. And I don't know how much of this is going to subtract or cancel out, but they will cancel out. After all, subtracting a negative is the same as adding the opposite. For those of you that like to draw, -5/6 would go a little bit down, but then we go up 3 1/8. Therefore, our answer in this case will certainly be positive because there are positives left over, or because we go farther up, or because we go farther in the positive direction. You write down what you need to write down. Meanwhile, as we already pointed out, there are 0 pairs of some sort, and therefore we are going to subtract because there are 0 pairs. One step further, you can't take away 6 from 8s, but you can take away, let's see here, least common multiple. I know some of you might want to go toward 48s, and that would be okay, but 24ths would be the best. That is the least common denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this, but notice, folks, I'm going to take the smallest absolute value away from the biggest. After all, we want to know how much of that 3 1/8 is left over. Now, as we already mentioned, you cannot take away 6 when you have 8s. You can take away 24ths when you have 24ths. So, 1/8, please, whatever you do, don't tell me that 1/8 is the same as 24ths. Not even close to the same amount of chocolate. 1/8 is the same as 3/24ths. And of course, 6 times 4 is 24, so being fair to the numerator, 5/6 is the same as 20/24. This is where you say, Houston, we have a problem. Because you do not have enough slices to take away. How can you take away 20 slices when you only have 3? So we're going to have to regroup. I'm going to just copy this once again. What we need is to cut up a whole pizza so that we have more than 20 slices, so we have enough slices to take away. Now, a little kick back to 7th grade year here. I think you would all agree that 2 and 1 is, in fact, still 3 holes, right? Okay, so let's write that in a different way. 2 holes and 1 hole is still 3 holes. Therefore, if we combine those parts together, noticing that they're still the same amount of pizza, I have not made any pizza disappear. 3 and 3/24 is the same as 2 and 27/24. Now, that's certainly ugly, but now we have enough slices to take away. 27 take away 20. We have 7/24 left. Oh, and 2 holes take away nothing. And don't forget, I guess I could have marked it from the start, but some of you already realize our final answer should be positive. Now go ahead, pause, ask some people for help if you need help with how to regroup. That is a 7th grade skill we worked a lot on last year. We'll keep working and working until we get it. So pause if you need to write something down, and then we'll move on. This was where I was hoping that we would work together with. I apologize I'm not able to be there. So if you want, pause, take 30 seconds, write down what work you can write down, and then we'll come back and I'll talk it through. Now, some of you choose to change, let me write that in green here. Some of you choose to change addition into adding the opposite. So if we change, subtraction to add the opposite. Change that to addition, change the opposite of a positive to a negative. A little easier for you folks to see. We got -3 and a little bitty part. We got -1 and a little bitty part. Now I can tell we're going to be negative. Some of you say deeper down. Some of you say all negatives. You say what you want. Number line folks, you can see here we're already down below water, and then we lose some of our elevation. We are taken away. We go down. And because there are no 0 pairs, we're going to add everything up. So I'm going to rewrite this 3 5/9, 1 2/3. I always put the larger absolute value on top, and we said we're going to add, but I'm going to immediately write this down so I don't forget we are underwater, we are in debt. Now you cannot take thirds and add it to ninths. So what would the least common multiple? Sure, you can use something bigger like 18 or 27, but 5/9 does not have to change. Meanwhile, 2/3 is not the same as 2/9. 2/3 is the same as 6/9. Let's go ahead and add everything up. 5/9 and 6/9, 3 wholes and 4 wholes. Here we go again. We have more than a whole here. So let's take 11/9 and rewrite it. Oh, and don't forget the 4. Now let's group the wholes together. That's 5 wholes, 2/9, and come on, Mr. Callan, that's not the right answer. We already said our answer should be negative. Pause if you need to write something down. Come on back when you're ready for example 4. And here we go with example 4, ladies and gents. We have -3 wholes. Oh, there's not even any parts there. Plus 1 3/5. Now, for those of you that like drawing minuses, there's -3, there's +1, and a little bitty +3/5. I'm seeing 0 pairs. I'm seeing negatives left over. So you number line folks, down 3, up 1 3/5. Yeah, we're still in the negatives. You might say more negatives than positives. And because we do in fact see, okay, that's going to cross off. We don't know how much of this is going to cross off, but we do know something's going to cross off. We are going to subtract because there are 0 pairs. So onward to our work. Now look, I'm going to write the 3 wholes on top and the 1 3/5 down below that. And we're going to subtract. Just remember, we already said our answer is going to be negative. Now wait a second. There are no fifths right here. So we need to regroup once again. Imagine having 3 wholes. And cutting that last one up and just regrouping. Now, instead of 3 wholes, we would have 2 wholes. And if we cut that guy up, there are already no parts. Notice again, I have not changed the amount of pizza, but now we have enough to take away. Take away 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, take away 1 whole, and look what we have left. We have 2/5 of a portion left. We have 1 whole that's left, and remember, we already said that answer certainly should be negative. Can it reduce any farther? No, sir, no, ma'am. That's in simplest form. Folks, go ahead and pause, write down what you need, and come on back when you're ready to start your work. So this is where we're going to start work with partners. Pause, do your work. If your teacher is comfortable with you working with a partner, this is on your homework page, by the way. So if you have not received your homework page, please kindly ask your guest teacher to pass those out. And now we'll go ahead, pause the video, start number 1, and come on back when you're ready to talk it through. All right, here we go, folks. So if you and your partner have spoken a little bit, some of you changed this to add the opposite. For number 1, we have a little bitty negative 5/8. Meanwhile, we have negative 10. So certainly negative because everything's negative. Or some of you would say deeper down, because if we start at 0 and we go down a little bit and then down a lot a bit, we're deeper. No 0 pairs. So we're going to add everything up. Common denominator, well, this isn't that complicated. Let's rewrite it with the 10 wholes coming first. Notice there are no parts here. But it doesn't matter because we're adding up. We don't have to worry about regrouping. 0 8s and 5 8s still have 5 8s. 10 holes and no holes still have 10 holes. Oh, slow down, Mr. Callan. Don't forget that answer should be negative. Can 10 and 5 8s divide or reduce? No, sir, no, ma'am. Final answer, 10 and 5 8s. Up to number 2. If you have been working in partners, switch up now who's driving. Pause the video. Give yourself some time to work independently and then start talking. Here we go, folks. Pause it now and come on back when you're ready. All right, we got a positive 3 holes and then another positive portion. We got a negative 1 hole and another negative portion. Number line, folks, you're going up 3 and almost another hole. You're going down 1 and some. So we are definitely in the positives. Maybe you say there's more positives than negatives. Meanwhile, there are 0 pairs. So we're going to have to subtract. Notice I don't care what the order is listed up above. We're going to take away 1 and 2 ninths from 3 and 8 ninths. And we already know that our answer is going to be positive. All right, common denominator will be sweet. It's already in ninths. 8 ninths take away 2 ninths. 3 holes take away 1 hole. We can divide or reduce. In this case, we can reduce. Final answer of 2 holes and 2/3. I think that's going to wrap it up for me, ladies and gents. With your teacher's permission, you may work together on 3 and 4, but then on the back side, you should work independently. I will give these answers to you tomorrow. So carry on, do well, and let's grow. We'll see y'all.